Ask Reddit, what are the red flags, triangular flag on post, in your previous relationship? Oversharing his previous experiences with other girls, still having photos of ex, didn't want to go with me on vacation, he went with friends, without me. Too much texting talking, I'm not suitable for a relationship, you deserve someone better than me when we had problems/disagreement. No willingness to fix a thing. Hunger for attention, and have to be the center of everything. I am the perfect and never wrong mentality. Making conversation about body count. Love bombing, including long-term promises within the first 2 months. How she allowed the men at work to talk to her, she was open with me about it, but also seemed to love the attention. Continuously reaching out to her previous ex, who broke up with her, she obviously still had feelings for him. Inconsistent with her love, very hot at times, but mostly cold. After time, she could not commit to anything in advance, making simple weekend plans became a chore, we often had to wing it, he wouldn't talk to me for hours or days until I'd threatened to leave. People-pleasing for the first 4 months, I might never have seen the real him until the very end. Fixing things and giving gifts were his version of love bombing, because that all stopped after about 4 months or so. Said his exes all had insecurities, yet no awareness with how his distancing behavior might have contributed to them feeling less secure in the relationship. Cancelled plans very early on, sense of entitlement towards the end, acting too good for certain restaurants, activities, etc. Lots of talk about other people and their insecurities, but nothing about his own. Couldn't communicate as time went on and got annoyed when I communicated things in a healthy way. Silence when something was bothering her, leading to me second-guessing myself and my behavior. Most of the people she had met in her life were bad people who took advantage of her or didn't care about her. There were so many problems in her life and they were almost never her fault. Very intense emotions, crying, frustration, happiness, excitement, etc. The age gap. Walking on eggshells around her at times and apologizing a lot during the relationship, even if I wasn't fully sure why. She wasn't very consistent with her behavior. It felt like an emotional roller coaster. The highs were amazing, but they never stayed. She went along with life without much of a structure or planning. That made things difficult at times. Repeating stories constantly and getting mad if I ever pointed out that I'd heard it before. Even times when I was sure it was her first time hearing it. Asking me to run 1,000 errands every day and balking or just outright forgetting every time I asked her for a favor. Making it a fight every time we went to visit my family. Throwing a tantrum whenever I didn't do something she asked immediately. Being ashamed/embarrassed to be seen with you lying about everything, even the smallest things. Lying in general never defended me when his friends would disrespect me so much. Twisting the story when I react to their mistreatment and making me to be the crazy abusive one, acting like they are better than you. Saying/believing that girls like them more if they acted like a jerk because nice guys don't get anything, making up all kinds of excuses for not even doing the bare minimum. Not remembering small nor important details about me, thinking I was controlling any time I stated a boundary, gaslighting and making me feel crazy or convincing me I'm remembering wrong. Crying and saying they're never good enough whenever I brought up a need, distancing themselves instead of communicating, then blaming me for not reading their mind even when I asked to have a talk a million times, never planned or initiated anything. Wanted passwords to all of my accounts, she had to always be right, all her apologies have but or because in it. Dumped 90% of her relationships, always has to be the center of attention, overly involved mom, seemed good in some ways and super weird in others. Still being on dating apps and claiming I'm going to delete the app, but can I get your number first, and then hiding it. Telling me I'm amazing, nice, like no one else they have ever dated. Went to an entirely different part of the room to use her phone. Telling me she was emotionally damaged near the end. She got me to drive over an hour to see her. Hardly ever came to mine, only to then run around her place doing stuff, and didn't really stop until it was funny time or time to sleep, hardly any real quality time. Claiming all their exes cheated. Complaining about continually lending money to people and them not paying it back or chasing it, in fact, continuing to lend to people despite of this to keep the peace, people pleasing, no reciprocation in the bedroom. Making plans months in advance but also telling me we need to slow down whilst they carry on wanting to see me more and more. Wouldn't show PDA in front of friends and family even though everywhere else there was no problem. Telling me they wanted to talk after calling it off and then making me wait 2.5 weeks whilst saying stuff like it'll be worth it, only to then have 5 days of nothing has changed, I don't know how to put it into words right now, we'll get there in a couple of days. It never happened. Led up to getting suddenly shut down and evicted from her life with no other warning or incident leading up. Calling me mate, I wish I had met you a year from now within the first 2 weeks. I don't think I'm ready for a relationship, but continuing to see me more and more. Allowing the dogs to take my place in bed in the middle of the night after getting up to go to the bathroom, leaving me to sleep on the floor, and then her getting up to go to the bathroom and not even checking I was still in the house, let alone bed, spiders and webs everywhere. Slept with me unprotected within 2 hours of physically meeting her for the first time. Of course, I should have questioned that, but she claimed that she had deleted dating apps and wanted to see where this went. Yes, I know I'm an idiot for this also. I thought she was understanding. Turns out she wasn't even listening, asked me my concerns and then weaponsy them, had guy friends stay over, reinforced the I don't think I'm ready for a relationship, nothing is happening I hadn't asked. Talking smack about people that behind their backs, complaining that all her friends were no longer responding and that all of her other friends were getting fed up with her talking about her ex and other issues.